Many of us still want a suntan. It's a fashion statement. Even today, some people still speak of a healthy tan. But given what we know about the effects of the sun on our skin, why do we cling to such nonsense? Sure, some sunlight is good for us. Sure, summer feels good. But that tan, is it really to die for? It's winter in Wellington, but even in summer, Sarah Christie covers up these days. Because Sarah is one of the thousands of New Zealanders who have had an encounter with our deadliest skin cancer, melanoma.
A girlfriend of mine that was diagnosed with melanoma, didn't make it, so yeah, and she died, and the grade of her melanoma was in fact not as high as my one was, so I was very lucky, and yeah.
An Auckland summer's day and thoughts of disease and dying are far away. Strange for a city that experts have dubbed the melanoma capital of the world. About 1 in 15 New Zealanders will develop a melanoma sometime in their lives.
We have a very, very high rate of skin cancer. We have other overseas pathologists visiting us, and they're astounded at how many melanomas we see in this lab.
They said I would have first developed it like when I was 2 or 3, being out in the sun. I used to live in Auckland and never any clothes on, always running around with, get in the sun all the time. I'm a very active sort of child and right through, and that's when it first would have started to develop, was when I was really little, like 2 or 3.
But Sarah has another interest which puts her at risk.
In the middle stages of the women's 1500 metres now, number 45, the familiar frame of Tony Hodgkinson.
And in front of her, Andrew, is Sarah Christie, running for Counties Manukau, but she lives in Wellington.
Sarah is a champion runner, out on the track in the heat of the day, competing in distance events. And sunscreen or not, Sarah knows there's no way that the effects of sun on her skin aren't being felt, which is why she's off to see the Health Hazard team.
Sarah, come through. Take a seat over there.
7 years ago, when she was only 26, Sarah noticed a small mole on her back.
It was just irritating, actually, my bra strap, and I did get it checked out, but because it wasn't showing any of the signs of a melanoma, it was actually came down to my choice to have it removed, which was my husband's choice.
Yeah. So they took it off, analysed it, and found it was a melanoma?
Yeah.
And what happened after that?
After that, they, within a week, I was put into surgery and they removed a lot of my back. I never believed it would be fatal. When I saw how my parents and Matt reacted, it was the only time that I felt, it might be more serious.
Sarah was lucky. She might have a 13-centimetre scar on her back, but she's still alive.
It's quite an impressive shark bite, isn't it?
But without the scar, Sarah's melanoma would have spread its tentacles into her lymph system. If her lesion had been left to grow and penetrate deep below the skin, its cancerous cells would travel swiftly through the bloodstream to her lymph nodes. Then ultimately and fatally spread the cancer to major organs like lungs, liver, and even brain.
Simon, please meet me.
Now it's removed. And today there's a mole on her shoulder she doesn't like.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
John thinks it may be nothing to worry about, but brings brother Simon in for another opinion.
I know that you've had a melanoma removed before, and in that situation, if you take it out, you know what it is, and you know whether it's something like a melanoma or not. If you leave it in, you'll never know what it is, and you'll be worried, won't you?
Yeah.
So, really, the decision's yours, really, what you want to do. We can take it out for you.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great.
Living in New Zealand, most of us will share with Sarah at least one of the risk factors for melanoma. Exposure to UV, sunburns, being of Caucasian descent, a family history of melanoma, atypical moles and some types of congenital moles, a prior melanoma or other skin cancer.
Sarah's had a previous melanoma, and she's showing us that she has a predilection for further skin cancers, further melanoma. So quite appropriately she keeps a very intense interest in her own skin, and she noticed a change in one of her moles, and the appropriate thing there was to remove it.
John's removing Sarah's mole under local anaesthetic, making sure he cuts widely enough around the lesion to get any potentially cancerous material.
She's in that sort of risk profile for melanoma. She's obviously had one already, so that puts her in a high risk category, which appears to have been cured. And she's got another suspicious lesion. She's Caucasian, likes a bit of sun. So obviously it's very important that we remove that and get it looked at, the histology, and move on from there.
She has a significant risk of having another melanoma. I'm not saying that that lesion will turn out to be that, but the best way to sort that out was to take it out, and I'm sure if that comes back negative, she'll be quite happy to have that little tiny scar in the awareness that that's now normal.
The next step is to send the sample away to be analysed at the nearest laboratory, in this case, Auckland's Diagnostic Medlab. For most of us, the wait for results would be hard. For Sarah, with a previous history and a young family, it's nerve-wracking, especially with a memory uppermost in her mind of a good friend in the same position who died with melanoma.
And she had children as well, so she was young. And then it hit home, gosh, just how lucky I was. And, yeah, really lucky.